Hello YouTube, it's me again, and I've really only got half a face of makeup on because I went and got my nose pierced yesterday, and I'm trying to keep it clean and happy, and so far it is. I just don't want to make it angry, so I don't have any face makeup on. I've just got some eye stuff and some lip stuff on. But I thought I'd make this video because there's actually a story that kind of goes along with my nose piercing. Part of it is that this is the second time I've had my nose pierced. The first time I had it pierced was, let's see, I was going to say about 7 years ago, and then I had it for maybe 2-ish years, and then I had to take it out. It might have been closer to 1 year, actually. Basically, I went with my ex-mother-in-law, bought it for my birthday, so it was a birthday present 1 year. We went to the place where she got hers done, so it was a piercer that was recommended by my mother-in-law, my ex-mother-in-law. She had hers done here, and hers was fine. So we get to this place. Got my hair sticking out everywhere else. And the piercer was actually training another lady to pierce. So she was sitting in with us while I got my nose pierced. And everything started out well. She cleaned my nose, she put the dot down where to guide everything, and then she pulls out a piercing gun. And for those of you who are have gotten piercing before and know a little bit about it, you're all probably cringing right now. Me, I didn't think anything of it because, like I said, this had been recommended to me. My ex-mother-in-law had several piercings, tattoos and things, and she recommended this place, so I didn't think anything of it. They pierced me, everything was fine. They did pierce me with a stud, an earring, essentially. So while I was talking to my piercer this time, she kind of agreed with me, like, no wonder you had problems. Well, my problems were is that the piercing kept falling out. There was nothing to hold it in, essentially, because it was just an earring without a back on it. I eventually did get some of the little stick pin jewelry you can get where you just fold the bottom up. It's really thin jewelry. That worked for a while, but I'd keep losing it in my sleep. It kept falling out, it'd pop out. I'd have to keep putting it back in, and within the first 6 months, that's really kind of bad for it, I know now, because within the first 6 months, it's still healing. I don't know if you've ever noticed while I'm doing my makeup, I do kind of have a little purplish mark here, and that was from my first nose piercing. I struggled with it for a little while, like I said, and then I got the job I have now. And at that time, they told us you cannot have facial piercings. So for about a week, I put it in, took it out, put it in, took it out, and then just finally took it out. And that was probably the best thing I could have done for it. Recently, my work has relaxed these restrictions on facial piercings. They said you can have a nose piercing, but it cannot be a hoop, and it cannot be anything, you know, really sticking out of your face or anything of these, you know, these, I don't know if there's Indians, for example, take their nose piercings a little more seriously because they're part of their religion, some of them. So they have these grand nose piercings, and you can get nose chains and things, and no, I can't do that. I can have a simple nose stud, which is what I have. I've actually got a nose screw. That was something when I went in and talked to the piercer, that I told her I had problems with falling out, and so she said, well, nose screw is not prone to falling out. And then I talked to her about what had happened the first time, and she goes, well, yeah, no wonder you had problems with it falling out. This will definitely be better. So walked in, talked to her, signed the waiver. Actually, I talked to must have been one of the tattooists there. He had got the waiver for me, showed me the jewelry. When they went and got the piercer, talked to her about jewelry and picked one out. She went and sanitized it, went and washed herself up, then brought me back into a room, where it looks a bit like a dentist chair, but without all the accoutrements in front of your face. But she laid me back, cleaned my nose inside and out, and she didn't mark me. I think part of this is because you could actually tell where I had been pierced before, and that's kind of where I wanted it done again, and it is where it was before for the most part. She put a little rubber cork up my nose. That all happened real fast, because a couple of breaths later, in goes the needle, and you don't really see it because it's like right there in front of your face and it's too close for you to see. The only time it actually hurt was when the needle went in, and of course that's when it hurts because you're getting stabbed with something. And then she got the jewelry, pushed the jewelry through, and that was it. Next thing I know, she's handing me a cotton ball soaked in Bactine to hold against my nose, and that was pretty much it. She had her own sheet of aftercare, and I told her I'd been pierced before, so I was fairly confident I knew what I was doing with aftercare. But the sheet did give me a few other ideas of things I could put on it, so I did get a couple of those things. Actually, I should probably have gotten them for the show and tell. But I do have a can of sea salt spray, which I got from Walmart. It's $10. I've had them in my empties before. I do have other jewelry, which I may or may not talk about in a separate video, because it has its own story as well, and it's a very deep story, which I'm not sure I'm ready to tell everybody yet. But anyway, I got a can of sea salt spray, and another thing she recommended was the Bactine. So I went and picked up a bottle of spray Bactine. It's basically like in the wound care aisle, which essentially that's what this is, but it's more like it's a topical analgesic, but it's also like an instead of like you know, the triple antibiotic cream you put on a thing, which you're not supposed to do with this. It's more of a spray, so I just spray it on. It also said I could clean it with Listerine, which I've been doing occasionally. I just put a Q-tip in and then take the Q-tip and I'll rub it around my piercing inside and out, and that'll get rid of some of the dried blood. Just kind of clean it up, keep it clean, keep it from getting clogged. So I've been doing that as well. I've actually just got this done yesterday. And after, like I said, after it was pierced, it didn't hurt. I mean, I barely know it's there. So I have bumped it a couple of times because I forget it's there. It hasn't fallen out. It hasn't even considered falling out, which I love. So I have to keep reminding myself that this is not like the last time. It's not going to fall out. I've got a better piece of jewelry in there. I was pierced in a much more professional fashion. And so far, I love it. I mean, I missed it for the last 5 years. I haven't had it because I really liked how it looked. I just hated that it kept falling out. But like I said, I haven't had any troubles with it. It's healing up nicely. I mean, it's still kind of sore. I mean, I move my face in certain ways and I can feel it, and it's still a little bit sore. What if it I mean, it hasn't gotten too bad. I mean, I can take ibuprofen if I decide I need it, but I haven't really needed it. I mean, I took one last night because I was a little bit scared of going to sleep, because that's when I tend to pull things out. But here I am the next morning, and it's still there, and my nose doesn't look overly angry. So I am very happy with it. And in fact, I would go back to her again if I wanted to get my other side done, which is something I have considered. But like I said, I had to get this one re-pierced first before I could even think about getting the other side pierced. But I would definitely go back to this person and have them do the other side if that's what I decide I wanted to do. Anyway, is that all I had to say about this? I think so. I am very happy I had it re-pierced. So if anybody wants to keep count, the first time I had it done, it was my 11th piercing. This time, it's my 14th piercing. So this was my 11th and 14th piercing. So take that for what you want it to. But anyway, very happy with my piercing. So glad I got it done. I think I'll probably be doing a video on my tattoos at some point, because I do have lots of pictures of them. I've only got 2, but hey, it's a start. But I can tell you all about that in a different video. So anyway, this is already a 10-minute video. I think I've rambled on long enough. Let me know if you've got any piercings that you've had repierced or had troubles with down in the comment box, or even if just you're thinking about getting a nose piercing or have a nose piercing. I'd like to know how many of you have gone through this. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.